Don in London, hello. November 24th, my video is all about addiction and recovery. In my case, addiction to alcohol and being in recovery one day at a time. And if it hadn't been alcohol, I guess it would have been addiction around people, places and things, collecting, feeling I needed to be perfect, trying to fit in, trying to be what you wanted me to be, and not really understanding who I was and who I was becoming. And the answer was, in all the days of drinking, I was ending up towards addiction and being very unhappy with life and unhappy with me. And what has happened to me? Well, I found sobriety one day at a time. And what has made that possible? Friends, family, community, health professionals kept me alive long enough to get to a place where I couldn't do it anymore. And I accepted, and I admitted and accepted, drink had got me beaten. And the rock bottom was alarmingly catastrophic in my case. So from being somewhere with a material life, although I don't actually value material life as such, is that right? I value my emotional and spiritual life, and I understand that I need a material life too. So I've got my order of priorities: emotional, spiritual well-being and physical well-being to the extent I can be, and enough of the material to keep life together, to live. Needs met, wants forgotten. So what made it possible? Being alive in the first place, as I explained. I went to a fellowship. That fellowship was AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and AA has helped me understand how to live sober one day at a time. I don't speak for the fellowship. The fellowship is unique and authentic, and it's full of unique and authentic people who meet regularly in groups. And it's a strange organisation, or it's not even that really, it's topsy-turvy. What's important is the individual comes first in terms of their sobriety. The group is there to help support individual sobriety, and there are trusted servants who keep the fellowship together in terms of a loose organisation to publish literature and to have some, I guess, suggestions to hold to unity, service and recovery. So, yes, what is AA? I've got a little card here which describes exactly what AA is there to do. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. It's all about recovery. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And for me that's so important, because it is all about sober. So if we sort out our emotional and spiritual well-being on a daily basis to meet the challenges of today, then we have a chance to improve our living. It doesn't mean it's going to be wonderful all the time. All it means is we are able to deal with life on life's terms, happy or sad, without tragedy or with tragedy. We learn how to be ourselves and to keep on learning. And this whole thing of living one day at a time, it's not about trying to build a future which might be a fantasy, but it doesn't stop us planning for the future. That's most important. We still need to plan something around our living, how to keep body and soul together, but the most important thing is to remain sober today, so we are on the first step of any plan we choose to make. And the first step of any plan is to know where you're headed, and often we just don't know in this world what's going to happen next. So living in the day is absolutely important, so we can respond as best we can to life changes, and life is always changing. So it's not about being stuck in one way, it's about changing constantly and being happy that there are changes going on. So the fellowship has taught me an awful lot about living in the moment, and so emotional, spiritual well-being are my priorities. If I know how I am feeling today, why, I can work out what to do about it. If I'm with other people, I can have empathy. How are we feeling? Why? And what can we do about it? And I share here from the Daily Reflections, an AA Alcoholics Anonymous piece of literature, which I enjoy because it gives me a bit of food for thought around, in this case, November being all about prayer and meditation. How can it improve our conscious contact with reality and a higher power of your understanding? And it's always the higher power of your understanding which is important. My higher power is good conscience, truth, love and wisdom of others. The truth, not my opinion, because this isn't my video is really an opinion. It's the truth of what is happening for you now. Love, how to love, be loved and useful, and wisdom from others and what's around me, the brain I've got inside my head. It's not about thinking life my way, it's about living life as it is. So prayer and meditation are very helpful because it clears the minds and focuses us on what's important around our emotional, spiritual well-being, and the rest will follow. And for November 24th, 1 page a day, November all about prayer and meditation, it reads like this: a universal search. Be quick to see where religious people are right, make use of what they offer. In other words, do not discount anything in this world. Find the wisdom in it. I do not claim to have all the answers in spiritual matters, any more than I claim to have all the answers about alcoholism, and that goes for me too, because there are different ways to get sober. There are others who are also engaged in a spiritual search, and my spiritual search is to be in the moment of now, to live now and learn from it. If I keep an open mind about what others have to say, I have much to gain. My sobriety is greatly enriched, and my practice of the 11th step more fruitful. In other words, prayer, meditation, reflection, and when I'm not sure, ask somebody about it. When I use both the literature and the practices of my Judeo-Christian tradition and the resources of other religions, thus I receive support from many sources in staying away from the first drink. So if I'm sober, I can then utilise, I don't mean use, I mean utilise all the resources around me to find the truth of now, to find out how to love, be loved and useful, and based on the wisdom of others and what I learn on a daily basis. So humility to keep on learning, that's what the 12 steps are about for me, to live in the moment of now. The greatest connection to spiritual living is reality. So we all learn our own way of understanding how the 12-step process works for us, because it does work in a unique, authentic way as an individual. There is no collective, if you like, on how it should be in reality. We all experience our own reality of now, and there is common ground, which is where we have empathy, and that's to be sober first, so the rest of life can happen. And at the end of these videos I share the serenity prayer to God or good conscience as you come to believe. So to God or good conscience, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is in the moment, and hopefully just for today. Don in London, hello. It's November 24th, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance was alcohol. My behaviour could be addicted to workaholic, relationshipaholic. Filling the gap. Filling a gap of fear, filling a gap of emptiness inside me. Always trying to be perfect and never so. But still striving for perfection. And along the way, drink, alcohol, helped me keep on striving for perfection. And I never realised that's what I was doing. At least I don't think I did. I think a lot of my life, or feel a lot of my life, was lived in ignorance of my condition, of what was going on for me, and my concern about being right and looking right, rather than feeling right. So the gift that today, just for today, one day at a time, is to be sober in recovery from addiction to alcohol, addiction to workaholism, relationshipisms, all those things, just to get on and be able to make life work, or live life as it is. And living life as it is far superior, one day at a time, trying to plan for a future which I don't know about, or to try and replicate the past, those halcyon days where everything worked out okay in my world with a drink inside me, or taking the edge off and feeling convivial because of it. So these days I feel more convivial about being myself, being able to love people, being able to be loved back and have something useful to do on a daily basis. So recovery has opened up a new life for me, simply one day at a time. And I don't have to focus on any more than that. I can have a vision of the future about what I would like in my life, or enjoy in my life. But I don't know that I'm going to get it, so it's better I stay where I am right now, in the present moment. And what's helped me do this, keep in recovery for a little while now, is family. I always mention family because they loved me when I couldn't love myself, and they loved me even when they hated my behaviour. And that's something I realised, that I despised myself and hated my behaviour, and fell out of love with my life, the way I lived. And I preferred not to wake up, and that's how it was for quite a long time, in the grip of this disease or illness. So these days, what's keeping me sober? Again, family, community, professionals, and a fellowship, and that fellowship is AA. So it's integral. What they taught me, or what I learned in fellowship, not they, what I have learned in fellowship with people in recovery, is that it's okay to be me and sober, and it is possible, and life can be as wonderful as it can, or as unhappy as it can, depending on life experience and circumstances. So the fellowship of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, I don't speak for it, never can, never will. It's full of unique, authentic people who speak where they wish to about their experience, strength and hope. And for me, anonymity is the absolute sanctuary to find the truth of who we are. So what a gift. I share the preamble which is shared at the beginning of every meeting of AA. It's a statement of intent about what AA can and cannot do, and where it focuses, what its absolute focus is. And the preamble goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership, totally free. We are self-supporting through our own contributions, if you have a need to give. And it need not be more than the tea money, or anything. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So the important sentence is, for me, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking, and that's what it focuses on. And then our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And that last sentence about keeping in sobriety was very much the essence of the sharing last night at a meeting where I go to. And it was all about step 12, which is sharing a message of experience, strength and hope. And the reason why I did these videos in the first place was because people sometimes are isolated or can't get to meetings. And that's really the primary reason why I still do them. And it settles me down into my own life and my own day as well. So it works both ways. And there's no personal gain in this other than a little bit of serenity in the moment. So that meeting last night, full of incidences about what it's like to be in recovery. And one of the things which was said, which I held on to it for a few moments at least in that meeting, and since then, was there are 12 steps of action to change our attitude and behaviour, which work on a daily basis. So the whole program is about sorting out our insides, how we work emotionally, physically and spiritually, so that we can be okay on the outside, in the outside world of living in family, community and work and everywhere that we go. So 12 steps to keep us going right internally, so we can be truthful, we can be open, honest and willing to live life as it is. Sober. What a gift. And I share the daily reflections here from this book, daily reflections on the 12 steps actually. So each month is represented, each step of the 12-step program is represented in this book, and November is about step 11, prayer and meditation. And for November 24th it goes like this: a universal search. Be quick to see where religious people are right, make use of what they offer. And this is a key theme throughout the fellowship. No matter where experience, strength and hope comes from, it's best to listen to it and see if it can be utilised in our own life. And it goes on to say, I do not claim to have all the answers in spiritual matters, any more than I claim to have all the answers about alcoholism. There are others who are also engaged in a spiritual search. If I keep an open mind about what others have to say, I have much to gain. My sobriety is greatly enriched, and my practice of the 11th step more fruitful, when I use both the literature and practices of Judeo-Christian traditions and the resources of other religions. Thus I receive support from many sources in staying away from the first drink, and being sober, and life happening, and life experiencing. And, you know, a universal search means that nothing is ruled out. So wherever we get our nourishment from to live sober, well, why not? Why not? And as Bill sees it for today, as many pages as might be helpful. Page 267, behind our excuses. As excuse makers and rationalisers, we drunks are champions. It is the business of the psychiatrist to find the deeper causes for our conduct. Though uninstructed in psychiatry, we can, after a little time in AA, see our motives have not been what we thought they were, and that we have been motivated by forces previously unknown to us. Therefore we ought to look with the deepest respect, interest and profit upon the example set us by psychiatry. And then it goes on to say, spiritual growth through the practice of AA's 12 steps, plus the aid of a good sponsor, can usually reveal most of the deeper reasons for our character defects, or what keep us drinking, at least to a degree that meets our practical needs. Nevertheless, we should be grateful that our friends in psychiatry have so strongly emphasised the necessity to search for false and often unconscious motivations. So in other words, wherever we get the wisdom to understand ourselves a little bit better, and where we came from and where we are now, experience, strength and hope from any source which informs us and includes us and helps us be able to deal with today, is worthwhile. Anyway, the serenity prayer to the God of your understanding, or just good conscience, or just and good conscience, whatever it happens to be. What works for you? The serenity prayer to acceptance. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, just for today.